All right, guys. So I'm going to get this situated a little bit better, but today's going to wrap up the week with training class. So what we're going to do is kind of review everything that we went over for the week, see if anybody has any questions, and hopefully be able to, get out of here a little bit early today. But this week, you should, by today, feel comfortable enough with making phone calls, with the process of going through setting up a schedule. And also, you should be comfortable presenting to clients at least the no-cost benefits. So that's kind of where we want to make sure by the end of this week, we still have the weekend. So if you're like, oh, I'm not the best at it. Well, you really only had 2 days of field work. Monday was a phone day, so there was no actual presentations. And Tuesday, Wednesday, those are days when we're typically meet with clients. You probably saw some clients during those days, gave some presentations. But today and Saturday, this weekend, that's kind of your second shot at giving some presentations as well. Thanks. But anyways, we'll start out. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions for anything regarding what we went over week 1?
Typically, but I'm just letting you know, I'm going to need some individual help. I have an Apple, and I started going through the process, the YouTube video, and I got all the way to boot camp, but then the screens didn't match the training thing. So I'm like halfway installed, but like Windows 10 is on there, but I can't get it to interface with boot camp. So I need somebody to help me make a decision, either keep my Apple and go buy another cheapy laptop that's going to run everything, or finish this on here, but I'm stuck. So I know.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you you want to give her your phone number again, maybe?
You got my phone number, right? I think it was Javon or Josh told me you wanted my phone number for the setup on Windows 10.
I think you might be muted.
You're muted right now.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Okay, you got my number from Josh, right?
Can you give it to me again?
Yeah, 312.
Okay.
826.
Okay.
3555. So you're at the part where you installed it.
35. What was it?
3555.
Okay, great. It's Omar, right?
Yeah. When I watched the video, I just followed the video exactly how he did it, and then it all worked out for me.
Right. So the part that's not working out is when I get to the boot camp interface app, and it doesn't show the same. And I even looked up a different video of installing it. I don't know. So I pull, you can't see it, but when you pull the boot camp up from and I'm not tech savvy, I look way younger than I am. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyway, when I go to pull it up, it doesn't have the same starter screen on there. It asked me to do something else. And whatever one I click, it says to put in a USB drive in with, I guess, Windows 10 or something. But there's 3 options, but none of them match. It doesn't give me the option to actually copy and paste and say that I have it. So that's where I'm stuck. I don't know. I can't click any of those options. It's all asking for an external drive.
Yeah, just text me about it after training, and then we'll get it all figured out. Hopefully, if I can figure it out. Maybe she can share.
Sounds good. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, that's definitely not my forte. I'm sitting here looking. He's looking at me. Okay. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
We got people though. We got people that can help us with that for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So anyways, if we don't have any questions, you got any other questions for like Monday? Let's go over what we went over then, okay? So Monday, what did we go over on Monday? We went over the numbers, right? I call it the money, understanding the opportunity. So knowing how the contracts work and all that. That's the whole point. It was Monday, just to lay that all down. That would be something that I definitely would look over again a couple of times. Probably I would look that over almost like once a week, definitely once a month. You should be looking over that. I almost looked at it daily and weekly, but I put in my name, and then I put in like people that were on my team, and I would always keep playing around with the hierarchy. I'd play around with the numbers a little bit, and I would just say, oh, I wonder, what if I did this? Or what if I ended up doing this? Or what if I can map this out? And I would just map out different scenarios for myself all the time, using the math that I gave you guys on Monday. So I just recommend it to get familiar, really get familiar with that stuff. Know the stuff inside and out almost. Then after Monday, we hopped on the phones after class, and you guys should have learned phone calls. Maybe you made some phone calls Monday. Maybe you just listened and role played a little bit. But Tuesday, what did we go over on class? On Tuesday was with Casey. So Tuesday, we should have went over the activity, appointment setting, how many appointments you need to call, and how many people you need to talk to get somebody set. Did you guys break those numbers down a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, we did the whole weekly breakdown.
Okay, good. I'm not going to go into all those numbers, but just off the top of my head, it should be something like, and these are average numbers, so they can vary slightly here and there. But I always do worst case scenario when I'm planning stuff out too. So like if you told me that, it could cost you anywhere from $2 to $3 for bottles of water. Oh man, which one was mine? I don't remember which one of these bottles of water is mine that I brought in here. They're sitting right next to one another.
I can go grab one.
I have no clue. Yeah, that's cool. I have no clue which one I brought. Look, there's 2 bottles of water sitting right here, completely different. One's Aquafina, one's 365, and I can't remember which one's mine. And they got the same amount in them as well. I put my bottle down right here and I sat down, and I don't remember what kind I was drinking. So anyways, if I would plan on 3, the point of the story was if it costs $2 to $3, if you're like, it's going to cost you $2 to $3. If I start planning stuff out in my books, I plan worst case scenario. I would plan, all right, it's probably going to cost me $3 a bottle. Hopefully I can get it for cheaper, but I always plan worst case. So in the activity, whatever they say that I needed to do, I would always plan worse and even add more to it. So for instance, if they say that, you need to make, and Omar, get me water. Thank you, brother. So what I was telling him is like, I always plan worst case. So if you told me it's going to cost $2 to $3 for a bottle of water, I would just plan it's probably going to cost me $3. Maybe I could get it for cheaper. That'd be great, but I'm just going to count on it being $3, right? So in business, I do the same thing. They told me that it's going to take you about 20 to 30 phone calls in order to get one appointment set on average. So you can be better than average. You can be getting eight calls to get an appointment set, 12 calls to get an appointment set, 15 calls. That's better than average. You can be average and fall between 20 and 30, or you can be worse than average. It might take you 40 phone calls to get one appointment booked, right? I never would plan for me when I'm doing up my drawing. If I'm like, oh, they said the average is 20, 30. I'll probably get 8 phone calls. So let me just figure out how many calls I need to make for the week. And I'm planning on 8 phone calls to get 1 appointment set. And I'm obviously not planning for the worst case scenario. I'm sort of planning for what? The best case scenario, like if all the stars align, so you're not giving yourself much room for error mentally in that whole process or physically in that process. Does that make sense at all? So, and what we're seeing right now is taking between 20 and 30 phone calls to get 1 appointment set. That's what it's taking. So if I was planning for myself, I was just planning on 30. So based upon 30 phone calls to get 1 appointment set, and if we could go back, I'll go back a little bit. So let's go back. Before you get an appointment set, you have to what? Talk to somebody, right? It's taken 2 talk tos to get 1 set. 2 talk tos to get 1 set. How many phone calls does it take to get a talk to? In this situation, 15. So 15 calls to get me 1 talk to. 2 talk tos to get me 1 set. So now it's going to take me, if you want to give 10 presentations for a week, then how many appointments do you need to have set? 20. So if I know that I need to see 10 people, in order to do that, I need to set 20 people. I need to get 20 sets. So what all goes into a set? 30 phone calls. So if I need 30 phone calls to get 20 sets, then I need to make 600 phone calls for the week. Hopefully I can get my 20 appointments set in 300 phone calls. But I'm not going to plan on that. I'm going to plan on doing the 600 or even more. Now, check this out. If you give 10 presentations, 3 people enroll into the program, 3 families enroll, that would be 800 per enrollment. So 3 enrollments at 800 would be a total of 2,400 ALP. That means they're enrolling at a $67 check, basically, like we usually use that number. So 2,400 is the premium that you would write for the week. And you would make off of that at least $1,200, right? So now we can break it all down again. So you can say, all right, if I make $1,200, how much am I making every time I make a sale? We make about $400 a sale. Okay. All right. If I make $1,200, how much am I making every time I give a presentation to somebody? I'm making about $120. So every time I sit down with somebody, I'm making $120. All right. How much am I making for getting an appointment set? I'm making about $60. I got 20 appointments set. I made $1,200 for the week. So basically, if you think about it, if I can call someone up on the phone and get them to agree to meet with me, and I write their name down on my calendar, I'm going to make $60 every time I write somebody's name down on my calendar next to a time. Tuesday at 3 o'clock, if I can put Jim and Bob, there's $60. Tuesday at 7 o'clock, Mark and Sally, $60. All I got to do is get them to agree that on Wednesday between 7 and 8 works good for them. That's usually what I say. I say, so I have Tuesday between 5 and 6 Or I have a little bit later on Wednesday between 8 and 9. What time works best for you? And I'll say, oh, well, I'm actually, we're going to be out of town, but I'll be back on this day or whatever. So I'll say, okay, well, right now I'm slammed on Friday. Everybody wants to see me on Friday, but I have time between 7 and 8. That time works good for you, right? So when you be assumptive too, you say 5 to 6 on Saturday, that will work good for you, right? Especially if they're like, if I say, what, are you working during the day or night? They're like, oh, I'm working during the day. What time you typically get home? Oh, I typically get home between 5. Okay, well, I'm pretty booked up tomorrow, but I do have time between 6 and 7, and I can get you and your wife all caught up. That works good for you, right? So regardless though, all you're doing is getting them to set an appointment with you. That's it. And if you just think about it that way, you're making $60 every time you do that. Now, let's go back again now, because in order to get someone to set an appointment with us, we have to get them on the phone. And it takes 2 talk-tos to get 1 set. 1 set equals $60, so 2 talk-tos are $30. So now I'm starting to play this game where I'm making phone calls. I'm like, every time somebody answers the phone, I make $30. Answer the phone. I'm hoping people, you're calling like, please answer, please answer. Every time, all they got to do is say hello. And every time that occurs, you're making $30. You pick your head up at the end of the week, you end up talking to 40 people. You book 20 of them. You book 20, you saw 10. You see 10, you sell 3. 3 would make you $2,400, make you $1,200. Last time I checked, 1,200 divided by 40 is 30. Can't argue the math on that. You know what people like to get into? They get into their feelings though. They'll get into how they feel over 1 day of calling, 1 week of calling. You got to make sure that you put in the quantity of numbers in order to let the averages play out. We can't be doing it 3 times and saying, oh, I'm no good at this. I mean, you have to do the law of averages to give it. I mean, think about it. If someone's like, hey, I don't know, we polled people and we found that the majority of people hate chocolate ice cream. Okay, how many people did you poll? 3. 2 out of 3 hated it. Would you trust that? Would you trust that poll? Right? I wouldn't trust that, but we'll do that to ourselves. I made 3 phone calls and nobody answered. This is the worst. I made 1 day of calls. 1 day of calls. Okay, well, maybe we called at the wrong time. It could be just a bad day. It happened to me too. Happens to everybody. Happens to Tom Brady when he goes to play football. Happens to the best people in the best situations ever. Stuff happens. The best performers have bad days. You're not always going to perform at your peak, and you're not even the best yet. We got rookies that are complaining because they're getting rookie results. And not even, it's not even long term, it's short term. Like professionals sometimes have short term rookie results. So if you're a rookie and you're having short term rookie results, we got to just have a little bit of, whatever you call that, I guess just overall understanding of the scope of the time frame, how long it takes to do things sometimes. So, but let's go back even further, okay? Because they call this reducing things down to the ridiculous. So there's a book called The One Thing, and it says if you can figure out what it really is, because whatever you're trying to get done can really be boiled down to probably just one thing that you can focus on to get what you want to get done. What's the one thing you really need to do? And if you just do that, it'll take care of everything else. What's the one thing, right? We're going to reduce this down again. So we're at $30 for what? What do we get 30 bucks for when we're making calls? If someone just says hello, 30 bucks if they just say hello, right? And it takes us how many phone calls to get an answer? 15. 15 phone calls to get someone to answer. And then 2 people to answer, and one of these people will book, right? So it's 30 phone calls to get a set, 15 phone calls to get someone to answer. We know when somebody answers, we make 30 bucks, right? So that means I'm making how much dollars per phone call? 2. Every time I make a phone call, I make $2. So if I make 15 calls and somebody answers, I just made 30 bucks, right? So you're making $2 a call. Now you say, well, how much money do I want to make? I want to make 2,000 bucks, make 1,000 phone calls, right? And you can kind of figure it out that way. Like, well, what do I need to do? I want to, because think about it, I want to write 4,000 ALP. And people are like, well, how do I do that? Okay, well, here's what you got to do. You gotta master your script. You got to do this. You got to do that. You have to make this many. Here's what it really is, right? You want to write 4,000 ALP. That means that you want to make $2,000. If you want to make $2,000, then you just need to make 1,000 phone calls because you make $2 a phone call. One way you can do this though is when you get good, you can duplicate your time and yourself. Like, oh man, I can only make 800 phone calls in a week, and then I start like, this is just too much for me. Or what my schedule right now, I got a lot going on. I can only make 600 phone calls in a week, but I want to make 1,000. Well, I do is I hire somebody to make the other 400 phone calls for me. I make 2,000 bucks because I made 1,000 phone calls. I didn't make 1,000 phone calls personally myself, but I made the 1,000 phone calls happen. I made it happen. I got the person, I trained them, I called with them, and if it wasn't for me, I would only make 600 phone calls. But because of me, now I made 1,000 phone calls. So because I made 1,000 phone calls, yeah, I made $2,000. Yeah, and I did pay this person over here 300 bucks for helping me, or whatever you did. But so you made 1,700 for the week. You guys know what I'm talking about? So that's a way you can kind of get more calls in without you making more calls, but you'll make more calls. So that's one way I like to think about the activity. I'm sure Casey went over a lot of different scenarios with all that stuff, but that's just one way. And I'm sure he did break it down like that for you. Did he? He broke it down? Yeah. But not like that. So I wanted to give you my little rendition, a little breakdown of all that. Okay. Then you know what you want to focus on now is the in-home stuff, right? So you know, after you understand the numbers and you know how to make the phone calls, there's a how-to, and you got to get that how-to down. I'll give 100 leads to one person, and I'll give 100 leads to another person, and one person will work the lead pack better, which means that not only they'll call them more, but they'll call them better. Their phone script is better. You know, they maybe practice more. I don't know what all the things that would go into it, you know, are right now. There's a lot, but nonetheless, there are levels to the ability to working a lead pack. Some people will work that lead pack exhausted in and out. They'll call it a million zillion times. That's what we want to do. We want to call that thing a million times. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't call somebody too much. You really can't. So if you're calling somebody too much, then you know, I'm gonna like give you a gold star, because it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So anyways, you know, with the phone presentation, you know, we can't, you know, obviously just be going through the motions. You have to make sure that you're on point with that. So beyond that, now we go into the home presentation. So in home presentation, the first half is pretty much what we'll talk about, the first half of your presentation. So you're going to start out, what's the beginning look like? You know, so Wednesday was a day when you should be practicing that, going over the beginning. The beginning of your presentation, the main thing you need to do when you start your presentation on Zoom, okay, is before you ever start, is you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. I'm telling you, this is one of the biggest things, is proper preparation prevents poor performance. And this is a key time in that you could say that.
I had a question regarding the phone calls.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've been doing calls for like over 2 weeks. And what I've seen is that occasionally, because we double tap, the first call goes through, we get to voicemail. Second one, they push us to voicemail pretty quickly as well. When we try to call the third time, it goes straight to voicemail. I'm guessing people block us. So what is your recommendation on that? Do you leave them a voicemail then? So hopefully they unblock you and come back to you, or?
No, I just call somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, just call somebody else and then call them back again in 3 hours.
So even if
Yeah.
our phone is like rejected automatically, you don't leave voicemail?
Probably not the first time around. You know, maybe if I've had it for a while, I rarely leave voicemails though. I don't know if I've really ever much left many voicemails. You know, I'll call them if they don't answer. I'll call them again if they don't answer. I'll just call somebody else and then call them back 2 hours later. You know, or whenever I get back through my leads back around to them, call them back tomorrow morning. You know. And then the only other option would be is if maybe a couple times, like a week or a few times have gone by and I'm like, I just can't get a hold of this person. Then I'll switch it up and go to, you could call from a block number. I used to go sit at the front desk and I would call from the front desk at our office just to call from a different phone number. I'd call from our office phone number. And then we set up a Google Voice. So I call from a Google Voice number. And then also we do phone swap. So I would call from my friend's phone and they'd call from my phone for an hour or two. And we'd call all the people that we couldn't get a hold of from a different phone number. And it's amazing. It's amazing how all of a sudden they answer and they're surprised, you know? So it's amazing they'll answer. So the thing is, I would say you can call somebody 5 times, but only call them once. So check it out, right? You get a phone call from me. I called you, right? You get a phone call from a block number. You get a phone call from a Google number. You get a phone call from my office. And you get a phone call from my friend's phone. How many times did I call you? Once. I only called you once. You're like, you've been calling me all day. I was like, oh no, I mean, I actually only called you once. How many times did I? My number should only be on your caller ID once. How does he know that it was me calling from the block number, from the office, or from my Google number? He don't know none of that.
Because you didn't leave a voicemail anytime, so to say who you were.
Nope, exactly.
So
I don't leave voicemails.
you pretty much recommend to have an additional number that we can call from then? Because I've seen it where people have literally blocked my number. So every time I try to call, it goes straight to voicemail.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely, definitely. And I think that, well, when we did it, the Google ones were free. Sideline, free. So you don't have to go like to the store and get a new phone with a new phone number and all that. You could just set up the Google lines and all that too. Try calling from the block number as well.
Do you know if you can have more than one Google number on the same phone as long as you have different like Google accounts?
I do not know that. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
test
but
it
you know
out. I'll test it out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure you're not going to be the first person to try that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that was my trick, man. You know, I just call them just like nonstop and just call them like a maniac, you know, until they answer. Like I would call them until they told me to, you know, go fly a kite, go pound sand, or hey, I'll meet with you on Tuesday. I want something from you over nothing. You know, you're not going to leave me hanging here. You're going to either tell me to go shove it, or you're going to tell me that you're going to meet with me on Tuesday. But we're not going to leave it where I don't know. I want to get to the bottom of this. So that was just the way my mentality was. Like I want them to tell me what's going. I would rather get an answer over just leaving it unfigured out. So, you know. But activity has to be something that you don't just I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna, what's it say, throw 3 of them, I'm gonna throw 3 of those, I'm gonna just do this over here, and you can't just go through the motions with activity. You know, oh, good call. You have to really be zoned in, and you have to be forceful with it. You have to make it happen. You have to like really be like, you have to push it and force the activity. Okay, has to be a high level of focus. If you think you're just gonna come, make some phone calls, read the script, people are gonna answer the phone, you're gonna have 10 appointments, they're all gonna show up the next day, you're in la la land. You got to be zoned in, you got to be focused, and you have to really take it serious. You know, it's fun, we're relaxed, we're dressed down. You know, you could wear a backwards hat, you could wear your sandals making phone calls if you wanted to. If you're not doing any Zoom or anything, if you don't have to see anybody in person, but we can't take that whole thing to the next level to where, you know, I'm dressed casual, so now I'm acting casual, right? So we still have to have that high level of professionalism on the phones too. And sometimes people can get that misconstrued because they're in an office or they're at their house. I mean, how professional are you going to be at your house? Nobody walks around their house saying, yes, sir, how are you doing, sir? Like nobody talks like that in their house. A house is a casual setting. So you're going to be more prompted to probably talk a little bit more casual, right? Which isn't going to make it as serious when you're on the phones with people, right? So that can hurt the professionalism, which can hurt the people taking you serious enough to show up for this stuff. They think it's just no big deal. It's nothing, just another person calling, another telemarketer, blah, blah, and they're going to put you in that category and not. And then also in the office, you know, we have TVs going. We got the football game on Monday. We're making phone calls. We're having fun. There's music playing. So we just have to remember though the seriousness of what we're doing, because if I mess up this phone call, they don't set an appointment with me, but they really needed the life insurance, but I rubbed them the wrong way, or I wasn't professional. Maybe I did set the appointment. They liked me, but they didn't take me serious enough to show up for the appointment because I was too nice. And they think, you go, he's a nice guy. I'll tell him I'll meet him next Wednesday. And the next Wednesday never comes for the husband. And now Mary's sitting there like, what do? I got a baby. I don't got a husband. I can't go to work. He was the only income. We have no money saved up. Who in America got money saved up right now? Do you know anybody? I don't know anybody. The only people I know that have money saved up are people that with American Income Life. I swear. I don't know anybody with money saved up. My dad, all the people at his engineering company, they got no money saved up. My aunt, they don't got no money saved up. None. They're in debt. My aunt's in debt. That's the opposite of having money saved up. Not only do they not have money, they're like negative money. That's what America's dealing with. So you think right now, I want you to ask you this, right? Do you think that for some people, it could be difficult to come up with $10 a week, right? I can understand that. I could understand how Joe and Mary, they're a couple, they're both alive, Joe's working, and for them as a couple, they're alive, they're both of them, they could barely come up with $10 a week together, right? I want you to imagine this real quick. Imagine how hard it's going to be for Mary to come up with $10,000 for funeral and final arrangements by herself, and her husband's not even here to help her with it. I can understand how it could be difficult for Joe and Mary to come up with $10 a week together, but could you imagine how difficult it's going to be for Mary to come up with $10,000 by herself? So I understand sometimes it feels like we can't afford it, but if you really think about it, you can't afford not to have the program. We can't, I don't say you, I never say you, just so you know that, guys. That's the first time I've probably ever said that. I never say you, I say we. I know sometimes it feels like we can't afford it, but if you think about it, we can't afford not to have this program in place. Right? So that's when somebody's trying to tell you like, oh, I don't know, listen, we're talking about setting aside $10 a week. I understand how it feels like $10 a week can feel like it can be unaffordable. It's tough to pull up. But if it's tough for us to come up with, for us, not you, if it's tough for us to come up with $10 a week now, and we have both husband and wife here, Joe and Mary, both of you guys are alive and working, and it's hard for us to come up with $10 a week now, could you imagine how difficult it's going to be for her, for Mary, to come up with $10,000 all by herself, and you're not even going to be here to help her with it? So I know sometimes it feels like you can't afford it, but if you think about it, we can't afford not to have this program in place. So anyways, let's go back to, before you walk into this presentation, man, preparation is the key. Being prepared, so key. I would not be given a presentation like this. I'd have a better background, first of all. Whenever I give my presentation, it'd be a nice background. So today, Austin's in our office. Austin's our top producer. Ashley might be beating her by a little bit, but it's Ashley and Austin. So I set her up, and I got a nice webcam set up on a tripod. So she has a nice webcam on a tripod. Second thing she has is she has a microphone. So it doesn't sound all echoey like I sound for you guys right now, because I know what it sounds like. I'm talking into the computer, and the computer has a microphone built into it. So that's how you hear me right now, is through the computer microphone. So I bought an extra where you plug the microphone into the computer, and it's wireless, and she could put the microphone on her. And now it sounds perfectly clear, like she's on a TV show. You could hear, and she can turn over here. Look, if I talk like this, I bet it sounds probably even worse for you guys. I'm talking under a desk. But she could turn around. She could go walk over there. It sounds the same, no matter where you go. It costs $100 for a wireless USB lapel microphone, right? How much would it cost in gas for 1 week to drive to your appointments? Probably a little bit more than $100 if you're driving around to all these appointments every day, all day. So if I don't got to spend $100 a week on gas, I could scrounge up $100 so I at least sound good. Because guess what's selling the over this? My voice. the sound of my voice is what's going to prompt them to buy something, right? So I want the sound of my voice to be crystal clear. Also, what do they have to look at? A little box. They have a little box right here, and that's all they have. That's it. So that box better be filled with some fire. That box better be filled. First of all, I don't want it to be blurry. I want it to be crystal clear. So I'd get myself a nice HD webcam that I can put anywhere I want. I can put the webcam here, wherever I want. Then what I would do is I'd make sure I have a whiteboard. Now, for instance, if I had a cool background, I might have a real nice established background, trophies, awards, plaques, nice decorations, pictures of my family, all organized perfectly, sequentially, so that I could use them to talk about too. You know, provide a football there, maybe a little football or something. If the guy played football, I can say, oh yeah, I played football, maybe a fishing rod or something. If the guy fished, whatever. You could have a couple props behind you to use for rapport building with people because you already thought it out. Man, most people I meet with, they're all talking about this, you know, blah, blah, I'll put one in behind me. You know, if I was in Pittsburgh, I'd have a Steelers symbol behind me because everybody in Pittsburgh loves the Steelers. Everybody. It's the easiest talking thing in the world, you know, if you don't have nothing to talk about. So I'd build a good background behind me. But also what will be on the other side of me would be a whiteboard. See a whiteboard right there? And I would be like meeting with people. And I'm like, so Joe and Mary, you know, also what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break down some options for you. I'm gonna actually explain something to you here. Let me break this down. And I'd get up and I'd walk over to the whiteboard and I'd have the camera set up all nice on the whiteboard. And I'm like, all right, so Joe and Mary, now you have whole life in term. The difference here, and I'd be drawing it on the whiteboard form like a teacher would, right? That's how I would be doing my presentations. I'm just saying, most people aren't doing that. They're doing whatever they can do to make it happen. But I'd have it planned out because people are going to be like, wow. I'm like, wow, he has a whiteboard set up. He must be doing this all the time. He must do this all the time. You want people to think you do this all the time. This needs to be like, talk about activity. You have to be busy. Even if you're not, you gotta be busy. The first, right, you have business person. Are you a business person? Well, the first word in business person is busy. It's a busy person. A business person is a busy person. That's what it is, busy person. Okay, so you want to be, and you have to, if you're not busy, act like it. I got a full schedule today. I got a really important meeting a little bit later, but I can squeeze you in now. I have a really important meeting earlier in the day. I can catch up with you later. And then what happens is you can dress up and say, I apologize, guys. I'm a little bit dressed up. I have an important meeting I have after this. I apologize if I'm a little overdressed. I'm coming from an important meeting I was just at. Like, this man must be what? Busy and important.
Important.
You're busy, you're important, and you're what? In control. As soon as I got on the call, I apologize. Hey, guy, how's it going? Nice to see. Can you hear me okay? Okay, good. Yeah. You want to know what? I didn't know if the mute button was on. Sometimes the mute button, my wife, she wishes she had a mute button for me sometimes. Okay. So, but anyways, how you guys doing? I apologize if I'm a little overdressed. I was just coming from an important meeting. So I didn't have a chance to really get changed or anything. You guys look great, blah, blah, blah. See, I just established that real quick. And I told a joke. It made them laugh within 30 seconds of meeting somebody on a Zoom call. So you got to be ready to go when that thing clicks on, you know. Oh my gosh, I can't put these waters next to each other. I'm going to do that again. Keep them over here. Yeah, I might just throw these things away. I looked down and I realized this one's mine. It has a lot more in it. So what were we just talking about? What were we just talking about? Getting prepared for the meeting, being prepared. All this is prep stuff. I'd make sure my whiteboard was wiped off, clean, the markers worked, you know, everything. So now you got your Zoom stuff all set up. Now you got to get your paperwork all set up. So you got to have all your paperwork stuff organized. Make sure you have your folder, everything right here, ready to go. Know your client's information. The most important information you need to know about your client before you meet with them is what?
Their name.
You got it. You got it. Their name. That's happened to me before, and I hope this doesn't happen to you, but I was in a home meeting with a client and I completely forgot their name. And I end up using every, you know, what do you call those? Like man, you know, I kept calling man or sir, or, you know, like I was using every other name besides the guy's name that I could call him because I forgot his name. And then I had to like somehow figure out a way where I can pull his lead out of my bag in the middle of the presentation and kind of look down at the lead and figure out, you know, who I was meeting with. So you don't want to be like that. You don't want to be in the middle of a presentation and forget the person's name. So that is the number one most important thing you need to know about your client is their name. Say it out loud a few times before you meet with them, and it helps memorize it. And did anybody ever read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie? Okay, so being in sales, this is a must. Okay, good. All right, we got at least one person. Maria knows what I'm talking about. But being in sales, this is a must book. You have to. If you haven't read this book, you have to. And if you already read it, I recommend give yourself a good refresher course on this stuff because this is pretty much the key to what we want to do. You know, this is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a big important thing in sales, okay? Because they say you got to make friends. In order to make a friend, make a sale. Make a friend, make a sale. That's always a saying they always had. So if you want to be good at making friends, this is a book called How to Win Friends. So that's a pretty good way. And then what you want to do after you make these friends is you want to be able to influence them. You know, and in this sense, we're in sales, so we want to influence them to buy what we're selling, which is essentially want to influence them to protect their family. But this is how to influence people, win friends and influence. It's a great book. There's a lot of key tricks and things that you can learn in there. This stuff will go on till the end of time. As long as people are working with people, these are like laws that can help. You. So one of them was called, I don't know the name of the chapter, but it was something like this. It was like, what is a person's most favorite sound in the world? Right? And
Their
it
name,
says,
right?
that's it. Yeah, it said to that person, the sound of their own name is the most beautiful sound in the world. They love to hear their name said more than any sound. Better than, you know, you go, and I'm thinking, you know, well, there's all kind of sounds. There's violins and guitars and, you know, all kind of instruments. So birds chirping, but any sound in the world, they love to hear their name. So very important if you don't want to mess somebody's name up. Now, I can tell somebody who's in sales and they know what they're doing is if I meet with them, you know, I'm like, so, you know, what's this car run? What's this car cost? They're like, well, what's your name, sir? I'm like, oh, my name's Tommy. Like, well, Tommy, this car right here is one of the best cars on the lot. So you're going to pay a premium price for that. This one's going to be about $172,000. Okay. But now, Tommy, what are you looking for in a car? You see how he's using my name? Instant sales professional right there. I could tell he's a little bit polished. He's been trained, right? I can trust him. That's what it speaks to me, because I've been in sales for years, so I know that. But to somebody that's not in sales, they appreciate that. They're like, he's saying my name. Like for me, I'm like, he's saying my name. He must be a good salesperson. But to a normal guy, they don't know what the hell's going on. They just think that, oh, he must listen to me. He's saying my name. And they're like, I don't really know why I like this guy, but I like this guy. Yeah, because I'm saying your name a bunch and it's your favorite sound. That's why you like me. And he don't even realize that. There's something about this guy. I kind of like him. I don't know. Right? You like the sound that's coming out of my mouth, don't you? He likes what I'm saying. Why? Because I'm saying his name. So you can't overuse it. Don't overuse it or abuse somebody's name and use it all the time in the presentation. But definitely, if you can drop the name, it'll set you apart from a lot of other people, that they dealt with. Makes it more of a personal connection too, as well. So, and nicknames are better too. Like you obviously don't want to be calling the guy Joseph if nobody calls him Joseph and everybody calls him Joey or Joe, right? So get that. Joseph, so what do they call you? What do your friends call you? Joey? Okay, great. And I established that from the beginning. If it's a long name like William, okay, do people call you Will or Bill, or you got some other kind of crazy nickname I don't know about? And I always try and ask them that, because I want to call them by that, because I want to make a friend make a sell, and I want to be able to use that name, and I'm interested. It shows that you're interested. If you ask them about, Thomas, do they call you Tommy? Are you Big Tom, Little Tom? Where'd they get Tom from? Is it a family name? When they ask me stuff, it's like, wow, they must be interested in me by asking questions about my name, which I'm most proud of. Everybody loves their name. It's their name. So, that's an important thing right there, guys. Important. Now, other stuff you can be prepared with are all the other important stuff that any professional would do before they met with a client. If you had to meet with a client, what would you want to know about that client? As much as possible. Anything and everything. Right? So what kind of research can you do before you meet with them? None? And just say, I'll figure it out when I get there? You can, and fly by the seat of your pants, and we make sales all the time regardless. But the professionals who get the professional results, those are the ones that are going in, and they already know the people. They already know how old they are. They know what union they're with. They know their job, and they know what they do. And if they don't, it's all public information. They'll go on Google and they'll find out, oh, this person, he lives on Summery Lane. Let me look where Summery Lane is over there in Lewisburg. Oh, okay, I can see on the map. Summery Lane looks like it's actually right by the amusement park. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Hey, you guys do you happen to live anywhere near the amusement park over there? Like, how does he know that? Man, I build great rapport with my clients. The other guy over here, he don't have no rapport with his clients because he did no research and he didn't do any extra steps to gain that professional edge. So, as much as we possibly can know about our clients, man, I mean, it's not being a creeper. If you Facebook them up, if you Google their name, it's not being a creeper. It's actually being a professional because you want to help them. And if you can build better rapport with them and they end up buying from you, you just save that family. You save that family because you looked up them on Facebook. You know what? Hey, I don't know if you even go on Facebook, but I friend requested you guys. I figured since we were going to meet, you could maybe accept me. Like, right? I don't know. Could help. I'm just saying. So anyways, the more that you know, the better. The more that you know, the better. Okay. So the Impact app has a data sheet of information on the leads. So like if you have a lead and he's part of a group, you can click on the data sheet and it shows you all the information for that group. How old the people are, or how much they make typically, what their job duties are, what their benefits are already. So when you meet with the clients, you can already have a good idea what they have. Now, After you do all your preparation, now it's time to do your presentation. So the presentation, the key at the beginning is establishing who you are and gaining control. Control, control, control. You have to do a lot of things at the beginning and gain control. Also, what you want to do when they come on the screen is you want to look at them, give them attention, but also you want to look busy. So I'm like, yeah, okay, guys, so and act like you're busy. You always got to be doing something and being busy. Like you know how like at the news and stuff, it looks like they're always like doing something. They're shuffling papers around on the news. Like you want to always act like, oh yes, how are you guys doing today? Okay, great. And what was that you're gonna? Okay, perfect. You know, and you want to kind of be like you're still building rapport and moving. If you're just sitting there like this, like, okay. You guys go shopping for Christmas? What are you gonna buy? Candy canes? I'm just telling you, it's no motion. You gotta be motion, right? Keep things moving, right? Motion creates emotion, and this is an emotional sell. People are gonna buy. They have to feel some sort of emotion. This is an emotional purchase. They're doing it for the love of their family. People do things for fear and greed. So they're going to do it because they really love their family and they're also afraid to let them down. And we have to find out where that pain is in there, where the problem is, you know, what the pain is and what's going to make them make that move. Because if they're comfortable, they're not going to do anything. If they're like, I'm good, I'm comfortable where I'm at, I'm comfortable with the way things are. If people are comfortable with the way things are they going to make any changes? No. If I'm sitting on my couch in my lazy boy recliner and I'm comfortable, I'm not getting up. You ever get real comfortable and then you got to go pee? Ever happen to you? Now you're in a debate. Like, what do I do? People will sit there and they will not get up and go pee until what? Until it becomes uncomfortable. Once it gets to a point where it's uncomfortable, they're like, they have to get up and take care of the problem. Comfort will ruin yourselves. If your clients are comfortable, they will not make a move. So mentally, emotionally, they need to feel uncomfortable. Physically, I would make sure my clients were uncomfortable. So if they said, like, for instance, number one rule, never let the client sit in their lazy boy recliner while you present to them because naturally they are physically comfortable. So they got to get their ass up and go into the kitchen and sit on the wooden chair in the kitchen, at the kitchen table. If you present to somebody while they're in their living room, while they're on their couch, a lot of times they're physically comfortable. So mentally and emotionally, they're going to be more comfortable. So that's why we always want to get them to the kitchen table. That's your home field. So even if they're at their house and you're doing a Zoom call, I would try to have control over where they're doing this call. Oh, no. You guys are in your living room? Oh, I'm sorry. You guys are going to have to go into your kitchen or somewhere. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have to do this in the kitchen. Yep. We got to get or an office or somewhere where you guys can both sit down. This is very important information for you and your family, Joe and Mary. I just need to make sure that you're able to hear this all properly. So you got to make sure that they're not in those areas. And this is all before we even did anything. Before you really got into your presentation, all this stuff is just setting the stages for a good chance of making a sale. And what'll happen is you'll do this so many times and you won't make any sales on a couple of them and you'll think that it don't matter. Imagine you do this 3 times in a row. I didn't make any sales, and you start taking like it don't matter, and you start doing less preparation, And then you get to the house where it's supposed to be your biggest client ever and you're not prepared. Remember, it's a numbers game with your script, with the preparation, with everything. I did the script and it didn't make any sale for me. Okay, well, you're gonna have to do it like 3 times in order to get 1 sale typically. Well, I did the script 3 times, I didn't make any sales, I'm gonna start changing it. And then you start changing it. And then you get to your 6th presentation and that's supposed to be a big sale for you, but your presentation is a complete mess and now you don't sell them either. If I could go over some activity numbers with you, 15 presentations a week is where you need to be. 10 is average. 10 is average. 15 is where you need to be to like for me, it was always 15. Always 15. It was always 15. It was set 30, see 15, sell 5. Set 30, see 15, sell 5. That was the numbers they gave me when I came in 12 years ago. So when I say 10 presentations for a week, just know that's like minimums, those are averages, those are, in my mind, it's a lower number. 15 is where you're at. So set 30, see 15, sell 5. Okay, what's gonna happen here now? If you see 15 people, here's what's gonna happen with these 15 people, okay? 6 of them are gonna tell you no. And 3 of them are gonna tell you yes. That's what's going to happen with those 15. Does that make sense?
And the other one, we sway them into it
You got it.
because
See,
yeah, 6 and
If you see 15, you got it. If you see 15 and 6 tell you no, 3 tell you yes. But we still got a problem, right? What happened to the other 6? The other 6 are going to be on the fence. That's what'll happen. So we have to be good enough to get 2 out of those 6 over to our side of the fence. And now you'll get 5 out of 15. But the key to that is when you get 6 no's, there's 6 guaranteed no's in there. When you get those no's, you cannot let them affect you and stay with you. And you get told no, and you bring that no right into your next presentation with you. And now that next presentation was actually one of the 3 yeses that you're supposed to get. But you don't get that yes because you brought all the previous no's into that house with you, into that presentation with you. And remember, those are 3 guaranteed yeses that are in there. But they're contingent upon us doing the presentation properly. You got 3 guarantees in there if you just literally just go in and do the script. Just go in and do the script. There's 3 guaranteed sales there for sure. The only way those are not guaranteed is if you don't do the script or you go in there with some negative attitude because we got told no in the last 2 or 3 homes. You can't bring the no's into the next house with you because you could turn a yes into a no. And then, like I said, we have to just be good enough to get 2 out of those 6 that are on the fence over to our side, and that's how we get 5, right? So we have to recognize those no's and not let them crush you. Regardless, the no's or the I want to think about it or I can't afford it or the people that were on the fence, regardless, I'm going to try and close the heck out of these people. I'm going to try my hardest to close them. I'll rebuttal with them 16 times in the house if I have to, especially if they need the coverage. You know, I'm not afraid to sit there and rebuttal with them and just go back and forth with them. And that's really when you get the ones that are on the fence, especially, you're probably going to have to get 5 no's before you get to a yes in that one home. So you're meeting with Joe, and nah, that's not gonna work. Okay, well, let's try that. Nah, that's not gonna work. Okay, well, take into consideration this, Joe. I know you told me this. What we'll do today is we can actually get you set up on this one right here. Well, no. Okay, well, let me ask you this. What's most important out of these benefits? Okay, well, what we can do for you. And then he's gonna say, no, 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 no. And then finally, after I keep asking, because you have to, there's a saying, it says, your persistence has to be stronger than their resistance. Your persistence has to be stronger than their resistance. And someone's going to overpower somebody eventually. They're either going to completely resist or you're going to, persist. Either way, we'll figure it out. But you gotta definitely be ready to kind of roll up your sleeves and do what it takes necessary to get them covered. That's all. And at the end, it's not like they're not mad at you. I've never sold one person after they rebutted me 75 times, and I sit there and keep rebuttaling them, and they never like mad at me like, this guy, he sold me. It's great. They're happy. It's like, it's all good. Trust me. Never. They loved me. They that's why I have all my residual income. Why do you think I get paid $22,000 a month? Because all my clients hate me and they're mad at my product. They're very dissatisfied with the service. If they're dissatisfied with the service, I'd be getting $0 of residual income. That means I help nobody and I help them horribly. Residual income means the more people that you help and the better that you help them, the more of it you get. So when you see somebody who gets a lot of residual income, say to yourself, they must have served a lot of people and they must have served them pretty darn well because they're all still paying for what they got. Isn't that cool? So don't be afraid to, rebuttal them because, hey, once they buy, they're clients for life. Clients for life, which is pretty cool. Not many people get that. AT&T don't got clients for life. As soon as the next Sprint commercial comes on, there's jumping ship because Sprint will buy them a new iPhone. So the more people that have our policies and our coverage, the more the bigger of a value it is for them. Because they put more money into it, they're more older. It becomes more, the longer they have it, the more valuable it becomes for their family. Because 5 years go by, if they cancel it, they'd have to start all over and it would cost them more for less. So the longer they have it, the more valuable it becomes for their families, which is just better for you. I mean, for you on an agent side, because there's really makes no sense to cancel. Like with car insurance, I can cancel every 3 years and get a better rate. Cell phones, I could flip those things around and get better rates. Life insurance, man, you have them for a year or two. It's always just going to get more expensive, So they have a saying with life insurance, and it's called you want to get as much as you can when you can. As much as you can when you can. So just with your presentation, to kind of wrap us up, so we're not here all day, guys. With our presentation though, at the beginning we want to establish who we are and establish control. They need to trust us. They need to know you're a real person. So any identifications I can put up there, anything I can do to build up the company. That first slide's a good slide. It just tells them about the history of our company. We're A+ rated, all that stuff. But then after that, we go into building rapport. They don't care how much you know, and they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you can't say you're here to protect their family, but you don't know anything about their family, like at all. So you got to know at least something about them. So building rapport, giving them, and they'll say you got to have a couple me too's in there, but your me too's can't be a 5-minute story about, your trip to Maine when you went lobster fishing or something. Your me too's got to be like, oh yeah, me too. I went lobster fishing one time. It's pretty fun, huh? What did you guys do? Did you use traps? What part did you go? And you ask them questions about what they're doing. You want to let them know, me too. Yeah, me too. Oh yeah, me too. I understand. but you don't want to be, they don't really care about your, I just don't want to be, they don't care about you. They don't care about your stories. They don't really care too much. They just don't, what they care is they want to tell you all their stuff. But you can't just sit there and tell me all about you, and then you never throw a couple me too's in there, because they're never going to feel that, oh, this person knows what I'm saying. So you have to make some sort of connections with them as well. And the easiest way is oh yeah, well, me too. I went hunting before. What kind of gun do you guys use? Where do you go hunting? What kind of animals? Oh, when we went hunting, we did deer. Wow, bear. Oh my gosh, what was that like? You know, my me too's are quick ones, just quick ones. Like, oh yeah, I did that before. Oh, it's just quick little ones. Me too. Da da da. My mom used to use sugar. What do you guys use? Right? Like quick, short things. Does that make sense, guys? Building the rapport. It's all about them. You want to ask them all the questions and use the 5 reportability questions. You know, the first one was always, nice home. How long have you lived here? Do you have a big family in the area? Are your parents still alive? What do you guys do for fun around here? How long have you worked down the XYZ company? What do you do for them? What do you like about it? Da, da, da. So building rapport. After we build rapport, then we have to what? Establish why we're here. So we need to tell them why we're here. Well, your president, John Smith, has contracted through our company, American Income, to provide you with guaranteed permanent benefits. You know, we work with all the different groups and unions in the area, and you go over with them why we're here. So we build rapport, explain to them why we're here. Why do we tell them why we're here? Another reason is so that they know that work coverage is the reason why we're here. You guys have group coverage through your work. Most employees have group coverage. Most people in your organization, you guys have group coverage through your employee. That's the reason why your president, John Smith, contracted through us, is because you guys have group term coverage. You guys have group benefits. And if you leave their company for any reason, quit, get fired, or retire, you lose all those benefits. So your president contracted with us to make sure you guys had guaranteed permanent benefits. So now, if the client says to me at the end, they're like, this looks good, but I don't really need any insurance because I have stuff through work. You're going to look at them like, did you hear anything I just said to you? That's the reason why we're here. I know you have stuff through work. That's the reason why we're here. You have stuff through work. And it beats that rebuttal. You know, they're never going to tell you I have stuff through work. I'm saying, you guys have this group coverage. That was one of the biggest problems that your president has addressed. That's why your president, you know, Susan Johnson, has contracted through us, is because she knows that you and all of your members all have your group coverage. But the problem with that, and the big concern, is whenever we quit, get fired, or retire, what happens to all of our benefits, right? They go away. So that's why they contracted through us, to make sure that you and all your members had permanent benefits for you guys. So my job today is to make sure I go over the information, answer any questions. We'll get all your paperwork filled out and get you guys all squared away. So that's why we established why we're there. Does that make sense, guys? That's a big thing. Or else, you know, you go all the way to the end and they tell you, oh, I got coverage through work. I don't need this. And you realize, like, oh, I didn't really explain to them. I should have broke that down at the beginning a little bit better. So you establish that. And then after we do that, then you're finally able to get into the presentation a little bit, like presenting stuff wise. So you can say to them, so, you know, Joe, you probably never seen a commercial or anything for your benefits company, for the company that's going to provide all the benefits for you today. But this right here is going to introduce you to the company, American Income Life, that handles all of your important benefits. This is, and I just press play and I play the video. So this is a quick little video to introduce you on the company handles all of your important benefits. And then after the video I'm playing, go ahead.
I have a question. On the presentation I got from Gio and Melissa, we talk about the work coverage not being permanent when we go over the will kit and the state information. So do you recommend to kind of bring that up straight on from the beginning?
Oh, yeah, yeah, right after you build rapport, before you play the first video, that's when it should be done.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And you play the introduction video right after you do that. Then after the introduction video, then you say, so Joe, the first benefit that they set up for you is your accidental death and dismemberment benefit. Okay, the way this is going to work, this is going to cover you for $4,000 of accidental death and dismemberment. What that means is if you were to pass away of any sort of accident, then your family will receive $4,000 of tax-free money paid directly to them. Now you have your wife listed as the beneficiary, so Mary, you would be the one that have to file a claim on this. It also does have dismemberment. So if you lose a hand, foot, sight, or one eye, you can get half this benefit amount as well. Okay, and then I basically just break down their certificate form, fill it out and everything, and get them their certificate. I say, all right, so the next benefit they set up for you is, well, I say, so then the next benefit, guys, is you guys know people with kids, right? Okay, good, because this benefit, the police and firefighters are actually really on us about getting this out right now. So just make sure you guys pay very close attention to this next video. And then I play the video, and then the child safe video plays. And then after the child safe video plays, I say, here's your child safety kits. Here's the child safety app. Here's how this all works. Now, the police and firefighters are asking for your help as well. This is obviously they're not asking for any monetary donations right now, but they are asking for your help in protecting the community by sponsoring 10 other families to receive their child safety kits at no cost. Now, I know you said that the kids go over your mom's house all the time, so we'll get a child safety kit to your mom. I know you said that the kids play basketball, so let's talk about some of their friends on the basketball team, and then also any of your neighbors or anybody else that you know. So who's the first kids? We'll start from your cell phone. Go ahead and pull your cell phone out. In fact, and what I do before I do this, guys, I always tell them, pull your cell phone out. I have very important information I need to put in there, okay? Go into your contacts under C, we'll call this child safety kit, okay? And then here's the phone number. If you lose your kits, you need to get new kits, this, that, or another. The kids get older, you need to get a new kit, right? You lose them, something happens, you call this number and we'll get one right over to you. Okay, great. You got that number in there? All right, perfect. Now, Joe, the police and firefighters, this is where they're asking for your help, right? They need us to get 10 other names. What most people do is they'll just start from the A's and they'll go all the way down through the Z's in their contacts. That way we don't miss anybody. So while you have your cell phone out, why don't we just start from there and go through there, and we'll make sure we get the kits out to all the families. You guys see that? You pull the cell phone out is the key. And then you say, while you have it out, we'll just go from the A's all the way to the Z's. That way we don't miss anybody. Now, after we establish the referrals, now say now, Joe, we have all your mom, your cousin, your sister, your brother. We have these individuals. I promise you that I will do my best to get these out to everyone that we need to get these out to. I promise you I'll do my best, right? But what they found is that if we do not get them on my schedule now, before I leave your house, the chances of us getting the kits out to them go down dramatically whenever I leave. So if it was a call, I would just say, if we do not get them on my schedule now while we're on this call together, as soon as we get off this call, the chances of us getting the kits out to them go down dramatically. So let's just give them a quick call now and we'll get them right on my schedule. That way we don't have to worry and we can just get it knocked out real quick. So let's just give them a quick call now. We'll just get them right on the schedule. That way we don't gotta worry about it. So that's what I would tell them there. Okay, all right. After we call them, get them on the schedule, get the referrals booked, rolled them from the home, then I go into the now, Joe, the next benefit they set up for you is going to be maybe it might be the AIL Plus card. Then you go over to AIL Plus card with them. Show them your AIL Plus card. If you don't have an AIL Plus card, then get one. They're free and show them it, okay? And talk about the way that you save money or you help other people save money using it. There's plenty of different, people are saving money with this thing left and right. So you're not gonna have to like stretch very far to find somebody that's done that. So you'll slide into the AIL Plus card, use your AIL Plus card if you have one. And then remember, we're using this card for a lot of different reasons. Number one, to build value. It gives you a chance to bridge and build more rapport. Do you want to walk into a home and say, all right, guys, let's talk about life insurance? That's not easy conversation to have with somebody. So this allows you gives you time for them to trust you. You know, it gives you a chance to exhibit your skills, exhibit that you're a professional, exhibit that you're a trustworthy person. Because if they can trust you with the small things, they'll be able to trust you with the big things. So if you can be trustworthy in going over something basic like a child safety kit, which you might think, it's just a child safety kit. Well, if you can go over that professionally and really good, they're like, wow. I mean, if this is how professional, how serious that he or she is taking the child safety kits and how professional of a manner they're treating this, I can't imagine how professional and how serious that she or he is going to treat my business when I give them a phone call or when I need or my life insurance application. You know, so that's why I try to just make sure I establish and just exhibit good professionalism on the small things, even the AIL Plus card or whatever, just so they can build that trust up. But it also builds some value too. You're not just there just, you know, talking about the weather. You're giving them things of value that other people already have, and now they're getting it. Like, oh, all these other people are using this discount card. Here's how great it's working out for them. Here, let me hook you up with this. One of the biggest problems we're facing, though, is child abductions, and the police and firefighters, they want no families to have, to not have one of these kits. You guys have kids who are under this. I got to make sure you have these for the police and firefighters. So police and firefighters are just putting you on another level. AIL Plus card, you're providing a lot of value. I saw the other day, there was like online a commercial came across. It said like the medical discount card or something ridiculous like that. They're trying to get people to get a medical discount card by calling a 1-800 number, and they had old people on there saying how they were able to save money on their prescriptions and stuff. So we have the same exact thing, but ours is better. You know, and then the free will kit as well. I mean, I don't know, 90% of people don't have a will. We should look that statistic up right now. How many people do not have a will? That's going to be the last thing we do, and we'll break here today, guys. How many people, no, that's the right way to ask this question, do not have a will? 3 in 5 American adults, shockingly, do not have a will, according to a new study. Research examining if and how people plan their later years and extent to which their discussed future with their partners or family members found many are taking a head in the sand approach. So that would be, wow, according to the survey, 81% of those age 72 or older, 68% of Americans do not have a will. That's from May 19th, 2020. Forbes magazine. February 15th, 2019, over half of Americans do not have a will. So we're seeing anywhere from like half to 68%. I saw 81%. I don't believe that. But I'd feel comfortable saying 60, 2/3, 66%, 2 out of 3 people. So if you saw 3 people, 2 of them don't got a will. And we're out there giving them out to people for free, helping people You know, so that's another added value. Just to give them another reason to trust you, trust your company, trust your motive, trust your operation. So, you know, you can use the no cost benefits for a lot of different things. But definitely make sure that, you know, that you just don't go through the motions, and each person you really give them a good, you know, no cost presentation. But remember, that's not really why we're there. So, you know, you can't be spending an hour on the child safety kits either. You do
Can
have a
you
job to do. Yep, go ahead.
Sorry, can you use the no cost benefits as a way of also preventing some of the rebuttal we have seen?
Yep, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I've tried that in a couple of sit I've done with Melissa. When I talk about the AIL Plus card, I'm emphasizing of the amount of money they will save. So when at the end they're like, well, I don't know finances, I'm like, well, remember all that money you would save on AIL Plus. It's literally like you're not losing it, you're putting that directly toward your life insurance.
Yes, huge. That's why if you know how the AIL Plus card really works, and you can find like some people where you might find some like certain prescriptions that you might just know, like, hey, you're on that prescription? What do you pay? I got the card, will get you for $30 instead of 80. Let's get you set up and we'll save you $50 a quarter right there, Joe. You know, so if you can get them at the beginning, you know that you put that in your back pocket, right? So that if they do give you the rebuttal, you're like, oh, well, by the way, I mean, what's nice is it's not really going to cost you anything at all, because we're going to save the money over here. So you're getting the life insurance for free. How about that? I mean, that's huge, huge, great thinking there, man. And you want your clients to have that because you want them to be able to afford the life insurance. It's just more money that they have in their pocket to protect their family, obviously. Yeah, and when you go over to free will kit and you go over to family information guide, there's ways in there to, you know, find out if they have the bank accounts. You know, you want to establish if they have bank information. You could establish for the medications. You know, you're finding out early if they have certain medications. You're finding out early if they have bank accounts. So you can get a lot of that stuff out on the table too. And all that is see, a lot of people think like, yeah, you're right. That's awesome. The more stuff I know, the better I can sell to people, you know? And it's not the idea. The idea is the more that I know, the better I can serve them. I can help them. So that's the idea. So yeah, that's a good question though. Good question for sure. And the more that you do it, the more you're going to realize like, hey, if I say this to them here, it's going to save me a lot of headache in the back end. If I can establish this, it'll catch, because I'd rather get it caught up front rather than later. You know, I'd rather catch the guy don't have a bank account now than waste a half hour and find out, you know, it's pointless, right? So the more you can get out of the way, the better to serve the client, And that's our motto, guys. Our motto is to serve, not to sell. If you go in there trying to sell, you're not going to sell much anything. Serve first, the sales come after. A servant is someone like if I was your servant, I would have to follow you around like and do whatever you told me to do. If I wanted to go pee, you think that matters? If I need to eat, matter? Drink, sleep. My needs go down, don't matter. The only thing that matters in the world is my master. Whoever my master is that I'm serving, that's the only thing that matters is their needs. My needs are no longer existent anymore. That's a true servant, right? So when we go to these people if we go into a home with a client and we're worried about anything at all personally, anything, if you're worried about anything with yourself, then you're not truly serving them. You have to 110% be there for them. That's hard to do. And that's when so that's why I always use that term. We got to serve, not sell. And it just reminds me of that term servant and to the nth degree of a servant, to the nth degree of a servant, like a true servant is just all about the person or the thing that they're serving and not about them at all. And if we go into sales into somebody's home and you're there to try and sell them for you, they're going to smell that a mile away. They can smell a salesperson coming a mile away. And you're going to be looking at you in your eyes and they're going to see dollar signs in your eyes. If you're looking at them like a piece of meat, like a dollar sign in your eye, they can tell. But if you're there like, listen, I get paid every Friday regardless, okay? Don't matter to me. You guys buy, don't matter to me. I'm here to do my job, and that's to serve you. I'm here serving you. I'm here for you. And you're honestly 100% confident in what you're doing. You're confident, and you get paid every Friday regardless if that person enrolls or not. You might think, well, what do you mean? Like, because if they don't enroll, I don't get paid Friday. No, you get paid Friday. You just don't get paid for them because they weren't even supposed to be a sale anyways. You make 3 sales. If they don't buy, 1 out of 3 are going to buy. So it's this mentality you got to have too. It really helps. I'm telling you that when you go in there with this idea that I get paid every Friday regardless if you enroll into these benefits. Now you're like, now you don't really care if they enroll. I don't care if you enroll or not. Don't matter to me if you enroll. You know what's going to matter if you don't enroll? It's going to matter to your family and your wife and these kids. And as a matter of fact, I'm not cool with that. So yeah, I'm going to try and sell the shit out of you right now because this is not cool what you're doing. Like, hey, I didn't come here to try. I come here minding my own business. I'm going to movies on Saturday. I got my own stuff going on. But now, matter of fact, come to find out, you need this coverage. I'm here. I'm not going to let this shit happen. Not under my watch. While I'm here, I'm going to get you the coverage. I'm going to try my damnedest to get you the coverage. And, but if you don't, whatever, I get paid every Friday regardless, It's not going to ruin my day. It's going to ruin your family. And that's the idea that you have with the mentality, if that makes sense. It's so I'm trying to explain it the best I can. So hopefully that was the best, good analogy there. But yeah, other than that though, it's just repetition for you to just go over that no cost stuff to where you know what you're saying before you say it. You know what they're going to say before they say it. And that's just repetition, So hopefully this was helpful today, guys. We're going to wrap up here. But does anybody have any other questions or anything? Some good questions today too, Henry. Those were good ones.
We actually had a situation happen that just a quick question. So if somebody has life insurance, a very, very high term policy through a family member, is there any way to rebuttal that? Like a 30-year term, $1 million term. I mean, like not, some little thing.
Yeah.
Is there any way to rebuttal that? Especially if they're like, oh yeah, they said they're going to take care of me and up my coverage before it gets too expensive.
Up their coverage?
Yeah, like change it to a whole. Like, well, they were going to make sure that they were taking care of the family member.
Oh, well, that's great then, dude. If somebody tells me they were going to get some whole life coverage, that's perfect because nobody has better whole life coverage than we do. So, Joe, that's great. If we, and first thing I heard was term. I think, okay, well, the question I ask a lot of my clients, and you can say this right to this person, you say, so what's his name? Sarah? Okay. Hey, Sarah, one of the questions that I ask a lot of my clients is I always ask them, when you pass away, do you want your life insurance to pay out to your family? when you die. And what do you think everybody pretty much tells me? Yes or no?
Yes.
Everybody always says yes, right? Well, the thing is with term life insurance, they found out that statistically, that only pays out 3% of the time. So if you want your life insurance to pay out to your family and you have term life insurance, there's about a 3% chance of that happening. Now, people have coverage through work. It's called group term coverage. Statistically, 1% of that pays out. So if you had to bet on something and 99% of the time you would lose, would you bet on that? No. So what they found is that there's one life insurance that's guaranteed to pay out 100% of the time. And for my clients that need to make sure that their life insurance pays out to their family when they die, and they need to guarantee that to happen, then we always make sure we go with the guaranteed whole life coverage. Because what they found with guaranteed whole life is it covers you for your whole life. What that means is when you pass away, it's guaranteed to pay out 100% of the time. And I've never had anybody ever call me up and tell me, Tommy, my husband passed away and your company sent me too much money. That's never happened before. So, I understand you do have term, and term's great, especially if you're young, for the if, but for the when, you're going to need something for the when. So we'll get you established for your whole life coverage. It'll build cash value. It'll be there forever. It'll give you options, and you can get locked in now. The best thing is that with our company, our company 100% we do no advertising at all. No, and there's no money spent on that. So you'll find out that because we work with these organizations, we would not work with 40,000 different unions and organizations if we didn't have great products. And what they did is when they set up the whole life coverage for all of our members, they actually designed it to be the best whole life policy in the world. So what's nice is that my clients, they essentially, they can't go down the street and get the same thing for a better price. It doesn't exist. We literally have the best whole life. And that's what I love about this, is that anytime I serve my members and my clients, I just know that I can sleep good at night because I know that my clients have the best whole life, guaranteed whole life coverage in the world. They can't go get it cheaper. It's impossible. Try it. Go ahead, try it out for yourself. Try and get a better whole life policy. You're going to be hard to find one. So that's good. You have term, but we also got to get your whole life. And good thing I'm here because you need whole life, and I got the best. So I don't know. You think that would help?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
Hit them
like,
with some numbers,
yeah.
show them the statistics.
Sorry.
What's that, Maria?
I have a quick question. When you said only 3% payout, is that because you're assuming that they terminate before the people die? The policy terminates before? Is that why?
I'm not assuming nothing. It's just the facts.
Well, is that why you say 3% though?
That's the facts. Yeah, like 3% of them pay out. 97% of the time, the person doesn't have the policy anymore. I'm not saying they don't pay out because it's a bad company. They just don't pay their claims. I'm saying they don't pay out because they don't have the coverage anymore. It was a 10-year term policy and they passed away 15 years later.
Right.
It was a
Okay.
20-year
I just wanted to make
policy,
sure.
past year, 22 years.
Okay. I wanted to
Right.
make sure I understood why you were saying that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. My dad worked for Primerica in his 20s. What a chop shop that is. But anyways, he got a 20-year term policy when he worked there when he was 25. And guess what happened when he was 45? It went away. And guess how much life insurance he had? None. And guess what? I went ahead and was licensed. I was a financial advisor at the time. So guess who got him whole life coverage? Me. His son got him whole life coverage when he was like 45 years old, 46 years old. He should have had that when he was 25, but Primerica told him to buy term and invest the difference. You know how well it worked for my dad? He bought the term. You know how well investing that difference worked? Nobody invested difference. And if they do invest the difference, ask them how their accounts are looking right now with the stock market. You know, 3 things happen when you buy term, invest the difference. A lot of people buy the term, and here's the thing, they don't buy the term, they get sold the term. Buy term, invest the difference. No, somebody sells you the term. That's what's the first thing that happens. And then the second thing that happens with this, right, is one of 3. A, they don't invest the difference. B, they invest the difference, and then it never grows to what it's supposed to grow to because it's invested in mutual funds. So you might get they might show you a 7% growth, but you're yielding 4. Or the third one is they invest the difference, the money grows, but then what happens? Life. You know what happens when people save money up? Anybody that gets any amount of money saved up, what happens?
They
Life
find a
happens.
reason to use it. Or
Hey.
life gives them a reason to use it.
Someone gets sick, the car breaks down, had to do this, somebody lost their job. Always something happens. It's called life. So for 95% of the people that tried to buy term, invest the difference, none of that happened. They didn't buy the term or invest the difference. None of it happened. And then the people that did, they woke up 20 years later with no life insurance and no money saved up. Like my dad, I've seen it. Crazy. You want me to tell you some other horror story about Primerica before we leave? Okay. My dad said, and when I went to training, my manager told me I had to line up 5 people that I knew that we can go sell life insurance to. And he would take me on these appointments and show me how to sell, how to do the sell process. And then he would sign my family up and my friends and put it under him. And he said that was his pay for training me. So that'd be like me telling you guys, okay, listen, Maria, you got to line up 5 sales. I'm going to come out on those sales with you tomorrow. We're going to make all those sales. I'm going to put all the business under me. I'm going to make all that money, but I'm going to show you how to do it. And then after that, you can go do it on your own. And you don't make a nickel. That was how my dad got trained at Primerica. I told him, I said, American Income, here's how we do it here, Dad. I'm in training. I'm training people, and I'm telling them how I got to train these people and how I'm helping them set appointments and how when we go out on the appointments, you know, if my trainee is with me and we make a sale together, I'm like, I put these sales under my trainee. My dad's like, what? That's crazy. You guys, these people got to realize how lucky they are. They don't really do that, and no company does that stuff. You know, they don't do that. They do the opposite. The opposite. So I'm not telling you that to kind of build up this company at all, but I kind of am, just so you know, like, hey, this is what it's like over there. So, you know, you might not have the best day every single day over here either, okay? But your worst day here is better than some people's best day over there. I want you to know that for sure. Your worst day here, you're still building residual income for yourself. And next week, you have the possibility to make $4,000. The person who works at Target, they're building no residual income, and they have no chance of making any more money next week than they made last week. It's impossible. So that's why I always say, you know, your your worst day here is better than a lot of people's best day over there, because we build residual income. So that's how I would always get myself through like a bad day or a bad week. I'm like, at least I'm going to build residual income in, you know, 10 years from now. I didn't think it would be 22,000 after 10 years, after 12 years. I was just happy with 10. If it was 10,000 after 10 years, I would be happy as a clam. And somehow it ended up being 22,000 after 12 years. That's the residual income I get every single month. Pretty cool, right? So you guys are going to be going same place, going to the same place 10 years from now, you know. But I'm gonna get us off here. I wanted to get us at probably at least 15 minutes ago. So apologize, I went a little bit over on the time today. Good class. Hopefully you got a lot from it and a lot from our time. And have a good weekend today, guys. Or today, have a good day today. Have a good weekend. And maybe I'll see some of you up here on Saturday. Thanks.
All right, you too. Thanks.
See ya.